Howdy there. Howdy there, worms. I'm a worm too, so it's not an insult. Sunlight in the early morning, in the early rising, and in the early setting as it sets is really good for you. I have not been getting sunlight. Today was a day where I was kind of struggling out of bed, so I just left my window open, feeling the power of the sun inside me now, turning on the hormones I need for the rest of the day. It's really good to work out in the morning, but I'm gonna push myself to do that. Oh, yeah. In a bit. First, I want to talk about Christ consciousness. Put my thoughts out there in the ether. There's this big push for, you have the inner Christ in you. Okay? Turn water into wine, then walk on fucking water. And if you believe you can, maybe you're onto something. Okay? And you should listen to what I have to say, because this is only going to help you. Now, Jesus warned about people coming forth and talking about them being Christ. It's really important that we are weary of those folks. So, no one's ever going to be like Jesus Christ. I mean, if you don't get what I'm saying, like, fuck off. This is for the people that get it. I'm not replying to anybody that doesn't get it. You're never going to be Jesus Christ. Between you and Jesus Christ are light years. Light years of teachings, light years of discipline, light years. Never going to be like the guy, okay? So, this is why works are useless for salvation. Because Jesus had works. He had faith. But he's also Jesus Christ. So, fuck off. It's never going to happen the way it happened for him. You're not Jesus Christ. And the push for Christ consciousness is being misunderstood. It's being hijacked by the principalities of darkness as a way to promote this idea that, okay, I'm God, so I can just manifest, or I can just do stuff like that. And no, if you could, then do it. Right? And it doesn't happen because you can't. Second point. No blessings are deserved. No blessings are deserved. The universe does not require humans to observe it in order for the universe to exist. Okay? No. You are not here by the will of your spirit. You're not here by the will of your humanity. You're not here by the will of your intellect. In any way, shape, or form. Quantum physics is being hijacked as well as a way to say, well, everything exists because of a human observer and observation. Everything exists because of a living being. No. Things don't exist because material substance is observing it. No. This is the miracle, I will say, of material substance being an observer and observation of itself and of the world around it. This is the miracle of self-simulation. Right? We're self-simulators. We take in information from around us. We reflect it. Goes back into us. We reflect it. So, this is warmed up Coca-Cola, not hot chocolate, not hot coffee. It's warmed up Coca-Cola. Don't trust me. Reject me. I'm a guy who's drinking a warm Coca-Cola in the morning. Or am I? So, back to my point. No blessings are deserved. None of it's deserved. It's all given to us by the grace of God. And we get grace by faith. And we don't generate faith, we receive faith. So Buddha taught, he was a teacher of the way. Jesus is the way. And what this means is Buddha taught us how to control the inner state. You get into a place of tranquility and awareness. Okay, first part. And maybe you're in a negative loop, so you got to use a little bit of anger to get yourself out of it. Man, I've been a fucking idiot. What the fuck am I doing? You laugh it off. Demons cannot laugh at themselves. It's really important that you laugh at your fucking self, worm. You get out of that negative loop. And stream, river, ocean. You start really small, okay? Because you can't just jump into it. You can't just jump into being God. And here's the other part. There's a difference between blessings and manifestation. Manifestation will get you what you want, but not what you need. You're going to get it, and then it's going to go away, and it's going to be a big fucking lesson. And a lot of people miss this in manifestation. They get all their stuff taken away, and they're like, I need my luck back. And why isn't this working out? Okay? You have to be ignorant of the future and like the things to come. Be fully aware of the now. Ignorant of your past. Forget your past. That's how you break your mental hexes. And be aware of the now. That's how you allow miracles to enter your life. This is how blessings are going to happen. Blessings give us what we need, not what we want. A big thing is also prayer. Pray every morning. Empty your heart of all the sorrow at night. There's a Hawaiian prayer. I think it's pronounced Ho'oponopono. Might be saying that wrong. I'll put it in the description. But it's a really good prayer. She had the woman who assembled it, was taught it. She has a beautiful long form of it. I suggest people study it, even though it's pretty long. It's available online. I suggest people study it. It's beautiful. But the shorter version is I love you. You say this to yourself. You say this to the people you've hurt. You imagine them. And who you've been. It's I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I like to add you're welcome at the end. And it might be please forgive me first. I do a different thing every night. What I do is I imagine all the people I've been mean to. I tell them I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. You're welcome. You have to empty your heart, though. You have to empty your being of all this wrath, sadness, depression, whatever it is. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Now, because when you go to bed, you dream about the things that you were thinking last. When you wake up in the morning, prayer sets the intention for the rest of the day. Okay? It really does. Ask God to be your teacher. Ask Jesus to give you teachings. Ask God to give you wisdom. Ask Jesus to correct you and guide you. Ask God to crush you and rebuild you to be a worthy vessel and fill you with the Holy Spirit. And you will see it happen. Pay attention to the elements. Pay attention to the things that happen. I had an interesting encounter. And pray for the grace of discrepancy so you know what you need, not what you want. I had an interesting encounter, though, where I was praying a lot. I had to go print some stuff out, go down to FedEx. I ran into an Orthodox monk who I've seen sing at a church near me. Beautiful voice. I told the guy he's got an amazing voice. Like, do I know you? And I was like, I've seen you at an Orthodox church. And he's like, oh, yeah. You should come by. We're having a Christmas celebration. Some kind of mass. I had already prayed that morning. So it was like God's giving me an option. Okay? Work in faith, run in faith, walk in faith, or sit on a pew and meditate. It was like 3 p.m. The sun is setting early around that time, around like 6 p.m. I jogged all the way down to FedEx. I had to jog back home, 20-30 minute jog. And I was getting my cardio. I'm getting my cardio in for California Conservation Corps. And I was printing some stuff out for the California Conservation Corps. And like, I had to study for an anatomy test. So it's like, do I have time? No. What's more important? And this is getting back to works. Works are dead if we do not combine it with faith. I was given an option in that moment to either lay around and meditate or to get off my ass and that be the prayer. We are walking poetry. Poetry is a form of prayer. Okay, when we help our neighbors, when we are silent, nonverbal, gratitude, and we feel it in our being, in our heart, that is prayer. Next part is that no one has a soul. This is what Christ is trying to teach. None of you have a soul. You're all antennas for one great spirit, and that is the almighty unbegotten fullness, who is beyond all names, images, words, signs, and symbols, and yet is bound, assembled through all of them, and the assembler of all of them, the progenitor of all things, all worlds, realms, and phenomenon. And Christ taught us how to connect to that fully. Buddha didn't. That's the difference. I think a big difference. I think Jesus was born special. I think his fascia was special. Because we are literally like liquid crystals recycling light. It made a lot of sense that Buddha got to the level he got, because you can do earthing through trees. You touch a tree and you get free range electrons. I mean, you sit there and you fast. You're cleaning your body out through ketosis. It's really fascinating. You look into the science of it and how his body was being evolved by the light around him in a fasted state, especially. I think he ate like one hemp seed a day. Pretty interesting, though. Plants had less heavy metals in them. Now, I think a keto diet is more desirable for an awakening within. But that's just me, maybe. I do good on a high-fat, low-carb diet, and I do great when I fast. Fasting is a form of prayer. It really is. And there's a reason why Jesus said that the mountains will move when you fast and pray. I think it was opposite, like prayer is fasting. And it is, dude, like study ketosis. But anyways, and then you have to break your fast with animal protein these days because plants have too many heavy metals. The whole point of the fast was to remove heavy metals from the body. Anyways, get into that another time. When you pray, ask yourself with each word, what does this look like? What does this feel like? What does this taste like? What does this smell like? Really connect to it. You'll notice the sky will open up. The wind will blow. Leaves will blow around you in a circle. You'll notice beautiful things will happen. And you can even play around with that. Hold your hand out. Imagine energy flowing. Faith, hope, love flowing through your being. And the wind will blow, maybe, if that's what you need. And just remember, you're in the presence of God. You're in the presence of God all the time. Faith is really important. Only faith will get you salvation. So, what I'm getting at here is, no, you're not Jesus Christ, and you can never be Jesus Christ. So, be yourself to the fullest capacity and surrender your entire being to the teachings of Christ. And find how those teachings connect to your own indigenous cultures, because Christ has always been around. I don't consider liturgy and baptisms, what Catholic Church does, and even what Christian fathers, church fathers are doing, I don't really consider it needed for your salvation. The relationship we have with God is personal, and it can only take us so far. And for me personally, I found that there's 4, and that still makes a Trinity. The Mother, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And then you have 432. 432 hertz. And I think there's something more to that, rather than this whole thing of like tuning your instruments to that frequency. I understand that the science on that is kind of finicky, and it's not necessarily true. Maybe not even true at all. But I think the 432 hertz is important in a different way. I think it's interesting that each of those bands, 4 hertz, 3 hertz, 2 hertz, have effects on the body pertaining to dreams. It's interesting stuff. I'll talk about that more later. But the Native Americans, we put an emphasis on 4. It's just interesting. But it still is a part of the Trinity. Each band of numbers kind of creates this little pattern. And that's it, man. Don't get hijacked by this whole Christ consciousness thing. You're not going to be Jesus Christ. You can't be Jesus Christ. It's not about being Jesus Christ, because he said what I can do, so too can you. And this whole thing of like, don't interpret the Bible however you want. You are filled with the Holy Spirit, and that's how you interpret it. But you have to purify your heart. You have to.